Something's gotta give. Something's gotta give. That was what I said during our Winter 2023 anime season preview. Something's gotta give. Honestly, Winter 2023 is easily one of the biggest, if not the biggest, season of anime ever. With 66 full-length shows and 5 shorts, something's gotta give. I think the previous years have really given us a sign of warning that the anime industry is sort of struggling. And when I did a preview for the Winter 2023 anime season, I said, how are they going to pull this off? I mean, we were already seeing so many delays in the Fall 2022 anime season that how can we pull off 66 shows? Unless a lot of those shows are already pre-produced, they're not going to be able to animate it. They don't have enough animators. Let's be perfectly clear. Nothing's changing in the Japanese culture right now around animator pay, and without animators, how do you animate all this stuff? Now, the answer to that is obviously that a lot of this stuff is being outsourced, but still, something's gotta give. Made perfectly clear by the fall anime season having less shows, but yet we were still seeing so many delays. Shine Post, Uncle from Another World, Cancoli. 3 shows easily right there, and there was a ton more in the entirety of the year that seen some sort of delays. I mean, we were getting over the delay of 86 into last year. So it begs the question of, how do they expect to actually do this? And at the time, when I did my preview, I made a prediction. I said 66 shows, that's not gonna happen. We are going to see at least, I said at the time, I think it was at least 6. And I emphasized the at least part because I still think it's gonna be much more than that. At least 6 shows. And we are now at 5 as of recording of this. 5 shows that have seen delays. Birdie Wing. They didn't even have to get into the season before they knew that was going to happen, so they actually delayed that. Then our next delay was Fate Strange Fake. It was supposed to air on December 31st. And production issues, once again, delayed. I believe Nier Automata version 1.1a and uniteup, I think were announced pretty much in the same 2 days, maybe 1 day. Nier Automata claiming infections, so they had to delay it. And uniteup as well. Infections, gotta delay it. And now with today, we get Ayakashi Triangle joining the fray, delaying its 5th episode, again, due to infections. And I think it's really a sad state because, honestly, every time I see the infections, I don't know if YouTube likes that name anymore, so I'm not going to say it. The C card. Let's just call it the C card. I'm getting to the point now where I'm getting frustrated by the use of the C card because it's honestly a very lazy excuse for their own issues. A production team and a committee that's not wanting to take responsibility for its own negligence. Honestly, if they use the C card, I think that's a huge negative to the company. If you can't handle that now, if we're 3 years into this, I'm getting into a rant. If we're 3 years into this now, the company I used to work for when it first hit, we figured out a resolution to make sure that people were safe within months. If you can't figure it out 3 years later, you got a problem. But again, I think it's just a fake excuse. I used to work for a company that used to pull that card all the time. We don't want to look bad, so just say it's because the C card. Just use that. Nobody's going to question that. If you use that, they're going to go, oh yeah, we're dealing with it too. Bummer. But no, it was always a case that the company itself screwed up. And they wanted to cover it up and save their reputation by saying that. And I think it's wrong. I think it's really wrong. And yes, with Uncle from Another World, it seemed like that was a case where, at least allegedly, they used that card and somebody came out and said, no, it's not the case. It's just that we don't have enough animators and somebody was screwing up behind the scenes. Again, allegedly. Sign right there that this is probably a common thing. They're like, just use that card. We don't want to look bad. Production committee doesn't want to look bad. Stop it. I'd rather have various circumstances than that. Use the various circumstances thing. We've used that plenty of times before. Use the various circumstances thing. We love that one. Now, yes, I do acknowledge the idea that most of these companies are outsourcing to other countries and they can't control how they handle that. But it's still a sign that they can't schedule stuff early enough that they don't have this problem. If you're on to the wire, we're just starting the season, and if you're already producing up to the wire to broadcast an episode, you're doing something wrong. This is why we have so many horror stories from the anime industry where people are working and sleeping under their desks. It's because you're going down to the last minute, and it's gotta stop. But again, I knew this was gonna happen even before the season began because 66 shows. You don't have enough animators. If they're struggling to animate shows back last year when there was like 40 shows a season, how are you gonna handle 66? Unless, again, it's all pre-produced, and I doubt a lot of it is. I heard that shows like Onimai, I think, was being produced for like all of last year, so there is a case where a lot of these are. And you can see it in the show itself because they're not trying to rush things. Even though I love anime, I'm willing to really criticize when they're doing things wrong. And I think the fact they're still harboring this mentality of last minute production and trying to force a bunch of stuff out, really pushing the industry to the point where it's at this brink, at this breaking point, is what I struggle with. That's why I'm so upset really overall, is that I don't want the anime industry to hit a bubble. And they're obviously right now pushing to that point. I don't know if it's the increase of overseas distribution, which eventually will break. Eventually, the overseas distribution, they're going to stop licensing everything. And when that happens, it's going to be a huge shock to the anime industry. I love having a lot of anime to watch. It's what I make content for. And so if there's more shows, that means that's more first impressions and more views and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want it at the cost of the industry itself. I don't want it to break. Every time I see a delay, my heart breaks. Because that's a lot of people that are probably working on that project. They're losing out. And again, it looks bad. It looks really bad. Honestly, I do agree with a lot of people. This means that it's just less stuff to have to watch per week. Even though I'm saddened with things like Nier Automata getting delayed, because I was really liking that show and I was really looking forward to Fate Strange Fake. I think most people don't care that Ayakashi Triangle is delayed because I think most people are like, I was just gonna wait for the Blu-rays anyways, so I'll just wait. It just means you're gonna have to wait longer. But again, it's still sad, and I really do hope something fixes the industry. In the end, I really do wish more that they'll dial this back just so they can just focus on having Japanese animators animate this stuff and really focus to be more internal, give them better pay, support their animators, and again, not hit that bubble. But anyhow, I just want to get on here and again express my frustration with the delays and at the same time acknowledge the fact that I am one away from being right, and I don't want to be right, but let me know what you think down in the comments down below. Are you frustrated with the delays? Are you okay because you have less stuff that you have to watch now? There's a couple of them that I'm already kind of pointing out that I'm like, yeah, I think this one's going to get delayed too. Do you think we're hitting that bubble? Do you think it's just going to correct itself? I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comments down below. Let me know. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, super thanks button down below. Also have a membership button. I greatly appreciate everybody that supports the channel, and y'all take care.